Hey guys, welcome back to the Codefreak channel. Freak out as you code. So in this tutorial you'll be learning all about conditionals. So there are few types of conditionals which you'll be using here, and if you have not heard of any of them, then you have come to the right video to learn it from the scratch in JavaScript. So let's get started. So we have three types of conditionals, or the three ways you can use conditions here. So one is if else, one is question mark colon, and the other one is called the switch case. So we'll be learning about all of them. So during the session I'll be giving a bonus tip, something which is more recent in terms of JavaScript as such, and which will be very useful for you guys. So watch the video till the end to find the bonus tip in middle. So let's get started. Sometimes we need to perform some different actions which are kind of based on some conditions, right? So to do this we'll make use of these conditionals, or these if and else statements. So first let's start off with if and else statements. So here I have a HTML file and I have a JavaScript file. So in the previous video you would have actually seen how to link it. So let me do that again. So I'm going to give it a title here called Conditionals. So you can check out the video on the top so that you can actually get a good idea about it. So then let me use the script tag. So use the script tag, and then let me give it a one. Okay, so now I'll give a source property here, and I'll attach the conditionals.js. So that's what I'll do here, conditionals.js. Now your JavaScript file is linked to the HTML page, right? So now let us actually let's just check it out. So once you link it, always it's a good practice to check it out. So let's do that. Maybe I'll put in there hello world. Yeah, okay, let me save it and let me just refresh the page. So you'll get here hello world. Yeah, that looks good. So now let's go right ahead and try to learn about if and else statements. So you have if, and then you have a condition. So then we can have a few statements here which will actually help us out. All right, so you can have statements here. So this is how a if condition as such works. So let me show you something called comment. So you can actually comment this whole thing like that. So just so this, you can use this double hash which we had actually had as a question. So this is what comments are. All right, so if you don't want that particular code to actually run, so then you use comments. Perfect. Now let's actually kind of try to create a variable. So let me create a variable called a, and then let me equate it to 10 for now. Okay, so let's try to see if the variable is 10. So we can use double equal to for so what double equal to, okay, and triple equal to, we'll discuss about the difference between them towards the middle of the video, so just wait for that. So yeah, and if you want to maybe say console.log, you can do that, and then you can maybe type in there right? All right, so let me just save this and let's look at it. So you got 10 here. So say we put something like 8. All right, let me just save it, refresh. So you don't get an output as such. All right, so here what happens is that, so you have a condition here. Only if this condition is true, then all the statements within these brackets, these curly brackets, only then all these statements will actually be executed. Otherwise this won't be executed and you go directly to the end of the 9th line. That's how the code as such functions. All right, so that's the if statement. So now we have talked about the truth values and the false values. So let us look at actually what are truth values and what are false values. What are the false values? So first let's look at the false values. So if you have an empty string, or if you have a null there, or if you have undefined type, or if you have nan, we have looked at that also. So all these become false. All right, so what are the true values? So the true values are anything other than these. So you can have some data there, or you can have 1. So those are all those are truth values, and the number 0 is also a false value. Okay, so now actually let us try to make an if condition with respect to that. So now actually we'll do this. So if 1, so this is going to give a truth value, right? So let me just check it out. So we got 10 there, right? So let me put 0 here, let me save it. We don't get any value here because it's false value, right? So let us try to get back our thing here. Okay, so now I've got back a equal to 8 here. So if a is not equal to 8, then you maybe you want to say something else. So we have a condition for that also, that is called else condition. All right, so you can use else, and then maybe you can again do console.log, and then maybe put in so here maybe you can put in 8. All right, and then here you can put in a. So what is the value of a? All right, so let me save it, let me refresh it. So you will see that you got 10 here. Okay, or if you want more clarity, you can just put in something like false here, and then if you can put in something like true here, so that you can understand better, you can have a better understanding. So it's false, and then if you put 10 here, you will actually see the output to be true. So you'll see the output is true. So that's how if and else if actually work. So you can add in some more statement called the else if statements. So you can put in something like else if, and you can add in some more conditions here. So you can have some conditions, and then you can have some statements here. All right, so you can have some statements here, and you can have even more else if conditions also. You can keep having else if conditions. So maybe I'll just copy this once more, and then I'll paste it here. All right, you can have this multiple times. You can have millions of else if statements as long as you want to write so many of them. All right, so yeah, that's how it works. So now let me say you want to check whether a is greater than 10 or a is less than 10. So you have checked whether a is not equal. So you have checked for a equal to 10, right? So let's use else if and do that. So else if, and let us put in the condition there. So if a is less than 10, so let's put in that condition there, and then you can do console dot log say less than. All right, yeah, that looks good. So else it will be greater than. Okay, so that's how it works. So now let us actually run this out. So let me just save it, let me refresh it. You'll get true because a is equal to 10. So let's make it 9. All right, let me save it. Less than, you got less than because it will go here and this will be false, so it will go to the next else if statement, and then this is going to be true, so it is going to execute this statement and then come out. So that's how it works. So now let us try out maybe 91, which is greater than. We save it and refresh it. So you will see that you got greater than. So it'll first check for this condition, it will be false, then it will check for this condition, this also will be false, then it will come here and do this thing. Actually I want to show you something which you can do where all of this can be made very simple. So let's go down and let me call it so it is called the question mark and colon. All right, so now let's look into that. Let me show you the boilerplate of how it's used. So you can have something like a result here, all right, which should be equal to whatever is the condition. So you put in the condition here, all right, and then you have a question mark here. So if it is true, it will perform the statements just after the question mark, and then if it is false, it's going to perform the statement after the colon. So now let's try to take an example with respect to this and then try to do it. Okay, let me create a variable called result. All right, and let me equate it to whatever is the number, so whatever is the based on the condition. So you can have a condition here like maybe a less than 10 in the same way. All right, and then you can put a question mark, and then if it's true, you want to maybe store less than. So let's do that, less than, then let's put a colon, and then again let's do greater than. Okay, and then you can end the statement with a semicolon. So that's how your whole thing looks. So yeah, let me do that. So that's how your full statement looks. So now let me do one more thing here. So let's console.log a, or let's just console.log result. All right, so that should help us out. So let me just save it and refresh it. Okay, let me get the console menu back here. Yeah, so you got two greater thans. Why did you get two greater thans? Because right now the value of a is 91, so here also you get one greater than, and here also you get one greater than. So that's why you're getting two greater thans. So say you want the same format as such for this. All right, so you can do that also. So that is called like multiple question marks and colons. So let's do that here. All right, so again I'll do let so now I'll just do result equal to a equal to 10. So that is the condition. Question mark, so you wanted to store true. Okay, then let's put in a colon here. All right, and then let us put the condition again. So what is the condition we want to put here? A less than 10, and then you can put in a condition question mark here, and then you can actually do the same thing again. So that's how you do nested stuff. Okay, so that's how you do this whole thing. So let me just make it big so that you can see the whole thing. So that's how you do this whole thing. Let's print out the result. Yeah, perfect. Let me save it, and then you can actually see that you'll get 3 times greater than, right? So you got 3 times greater than, and your code has worked perfectly well. So first, how is this going to actually happen? So first you're going to see this here, right? So you have a equal to 10. So a is not equal to 10, so it's not going to do this particular operation. So it's going to go after the colon. So here again you have the next condition, which is a less than 10, so which is actually false. So it will go to this part of it, which is after the colon, and it will store greater than inside result variable. All right, so that's how this whole function as such works. So now let us look at logical operators in JavaScript, which are really useful. So there are 3 logical operators as such. One is or, then one is and one is not. So we will use all of them one by one. So first let's go for or let me put in a condition if. So you have maybe 10 1 equal to 1. All right, and you have something like or, so you use this symbol for or. All right, and then 2 equal to 2. So these are basically truth statements. So I just wanted to make it easy for you guys to understand. So this is going to give true, and this is also going to give true, right? So if this is true and this is true, then also you will get then also the value here will be truth value. If even one of them is false, also it will give truth value. So let's try out both of them. All right, and only if both are false, this one is also false and this one is also false, only then will this work out, do not work out. All right, so let me just do console.log, and let me just put in there hi. Yeah, right. So now actually let's try to save it, and then let's check out. So since both of them are true, you have this printed. Now let me make this 3. So you know that the first part of the condition is false. So let me again refresh it. So, but still you get the output to be high. Why? Because the second one is true. So if this is true or this is true, it's going to work. The final output is going to be true. So let's make both false. Refresh it. See, now you don't get the output. So now let us look at the second operator, which is AND, logical operator. And. So this is how you put AND. So in case of AND, you need both of them to be true. Even if one of them is false, then you won't get the output. So let's put both of them to be true first, and let me save it and refresh once here. So you get a output here, right? So you can put 2 here, and then you will see that you won't get the output. So if both of them are false, obviously you don't get an output. So don't worry about it at all. All right. So now let us go to the next one, which is not. So for the not operator as such, so let me use something simple so that you guys can understand properly. All right. So let me just do true. So if it is, you have already put true here, so it's going to happen anyway. So let's just check it out. So yeah, it gave high. So if I put a not operator, so this is the not operator. It's just exclamation mark, right? So if you put this, you'll actually see that you won't get an output because not true means false, right? So if I do not false, so let me save it, you'll actually get the output high because not false is true. So that is what is the basic understanding of the not operator. Then I told you I'm going to give you a bonus tip. So now comes the bonus tip, right? Now comes the bonus tip. So it is the null. It is called the nullish coalescing operator, which is something which is added recently to the JavaScript as such, or to the browsers. So old browsers as such cannot use this operator. All right. So let's look into what this nullish coalescing operator is. So the nullish coalescing operator question mark provides a short syntax for selecting a first defined value from the list. So that's what it does. Okay. So for example, if you let's create a variable. Let's create two variables here, a and b. So let me assign 2 to b. All right. So b has 2 but a has nothing there. All right. So now let me try to create another variable called x. All right. So here you can actually do this. So a question mark b. So a is undefined. So let's actually check it out. Okay. So I'll do console.log. Yeah, and let me do a. Yeah, you can actually check it out. So a will give a undefined value, but if you do b, you'll get 2, that you know already anyway. Alright. So you'll get 2, right? So let me copy the same statement, or let me just put this statement up. Yeah. So let me save it, and let's put an x here. So let me save it again. So you will see that you'll get 2 here. So what's happening here is that a is undefined, right? And b is having the value 2. So basically you can see that you can see the expression I've put here. So x equal to a not equal to null and a not equal to undefined, then you have a after the question mark, and then you have b. So that's what, so you can understand this operation, right? So whichever is kind of the first defined value, that's what it's going to select. All right. So that's how this whole thing works. Perfect. So that was the thing which I wanted to tell you about. And there is one more thing, that the precedence of the this operator question mark operator is rather low, which is 7 in the table which we had discussed earlier. So that means that a question mark is evaluated after most of the other operations, but before equal to and question mark colon. So that is something which you can actually remember. So this is what I wanted to share with you in terms of the new concepts. So let us actually comment all this. So now we look at something new, which is the switch case. So let's go to a switch statement can replace multiple if checks. All right. So you had here a lot of if else statements. You can have here a lot of if else statements, right? So if you don't want that, you can actually do this. So it gives more descriptive way to compare a value with multiple variants. You have a syntax which I'll try to help you out with. So we have let a. Okay, let me do that. So you have a variable there. So let me switch a. So you're going to check for the variable, this variable. All right. So you have this thing like that, and you put a semicolon at the end. All right. So now let us go for it. So you have, so if a is 1, you will actually do all the statements you write here. So let me press enter, and then these are the statements that you can write here. All right. So if a is else if a is 2, then you will do all the statements written below here. All right. So this is how this code actually works. And there's one more thing which I'll tell you here. That is, you have something called the default, same as default. So it's like the else here. So when you have the if and else if and else, so it's like this else here. So that's how the default actually works. You can put the default in the beginning. That means it does that every time. So that also is possible. Then you can have some statements. So that's how this whole scenario as such works. All right. So you can have numbers, and you can have even anything as such. You can have a string. So it does strict inequality where the type also has to match. So the data type also has to match. That's what a strict inequality means. All right. So let us so there's one more thing which you have to keep in mind, that is you have to keep a break statement at the end of it. Otherwise it'll start from here and then it will go to the end. So in the examples that I'll give you, or the questions that I'll give you, which you can run it and try out to understand as such why, how it's happening. All right. So you need to have a break statement at the end of each of these cases. So that is something which is very important. So now let us actually try out this whole thing. So maybe we can just do console.log 1, so that it's very simple as such, and then console dot log 2. All right, that's it. Let's just leave it at this for now, and I'll just comment this line. Yeah, so we can actually refresh. So let me make a as 1. All right, let me save it. Let's refresh. So you'll get 1 there, right? So now if I make a as 2, let me save it. So we get 2 there. If I make a as something else other than these two, we don't have a default statement, so nothing will come there as such. Okay, so if you have some default statement here, that's what will happen every time. All right, so now for example, let's try to do something like, maybe I'll just remove this break for now. So now let us look at what happens if I make a as 1. So the output will be 1 and then 2. Why? Because it does this, and then you're not breaking out. So if you, when you break out, you come directly to the end of this switch case. But since you're not breaking out, it is going to perform all these statements. If you have something in default here also, that's also going to happen again. So that is how this switch as such works. All right, I hope you guys understood these conditionals as such, how they work. I wanted to put all of them in one video so that you can actually get full and thorough knowledge of all the conditionals that we have in JavaScript as such. So if you stayed till here and watched till here, actually please like, share and comment. Okay, and then just look at the questions which I've put up here, and then try to solve all of them. So there are going to be a few questions, so you can maybe take a screenshot of these questions and then solve them out, and then again put it back here. All right, bye bye.